Hello, I'm Ali Langdon. Welcome to A Current Affair. When Brian Dean's kids brought home the flu, he caught it too. He went to the hospital and despite struggling to breathe and walk, he was discharged. A day later, he was dead. His wife Sandra wants to know, was a crucial opportunity missed that could have saved her husband's life?
We love you.
When I and we sit amongst the chaos, you always help us through.
Keep hanging on. Good boy.
I'll fight for you always. And as promised, I'll try and make you proud. He told me, I feel like I'm going to die. And I said, don't be silly, you have the flu. And he died.
July 2023, the depths of winter. Brian and Sandra Dean's boys, Alfie and Ari, brought the flu home from school.
I was the last to come down with it, but Brian certainly had a worse case of it than any of us did.
The father was also vomiting. Going downhill, he ended up in Geelong Hospital.
I believe he was given fluids and anti-nausea medications to help him. He was admitted into a short stay unit for the evening.
The next morning, Brian was discharged.
He was having trouble breathing. He was definitely short of breath, and he was leaning against the wall to aid himself walking. So he was in trouble.
By the time Brian got home from that first hospital visit, Sandra says he was sicker than when he first arrived here. And this discharge summary shows he had a temperature of 40 degrees. It begs the question, why did the hospital let him leave at all? And what conversations did staff have with Brian before that decision was made?
He said that he was discharged with the advice to come back if he was still sick.
And when he's discharged, what did they tell him he had? The flu?
Yeah.
But one day and a second hospital visit later, Sandra's husband was dead. And according to Brian's death certificate, his cause of death was sepsis.
I had to sign to cease life support, and then I had to tell our children, that their dad had died.
What did you lose in that moment?
My past, my present, and my future. All in one moment. My very best friend. My soulmate. My husband. And the father of my children.
We say the Geelong Hospital missed a crucial opportunity to give Brian antibiotics that would have saved his life.
Lawyer Rachel Seeger from Shine Lawyers' medical negligence team.
It's not long after Brian arrives at the hospital that there are signs in his vital symptoms and his blood results that show that much more needed to be done.
Expert opinions that have been gathered have said that if Brian was given any antibiotics at any stage during his first admissions, he would have survived. These are Brian's medical notes that I had to go through a process through Freedom of Information to receive.
The records reveal hospital staff flagged sepsis more than once.
Brian was admitted at 7:59, and Brian's first mention of sepsis is a sepsis call at 8:13 p.m. on the same evening.
So he's only been in hospital 14 minutes and sepsis has been flagged.
Yes.
Did he receive any antibiotics at all in the first visit?
No, he did not.
Did anyone mention sepsis to you while he was in hospital the first time?
No. Sorry, the following morning, Brian had blood tests that actually had a note at the bottom saying that there was a marked left shift with mild toxic changes, query infection, query inflammation, query sepsis. And that was at 7:30.
Right, so he's been in hospital overnight, question mark, sepsis. So again, flagging it the next morning.
The treatment for sepsis is antibiotics. It's as plain as that.
Brian first called an ambulance on July 1, 2023, arriving at Geelong Hospital at 8 p.m. Without being given any antibiotics, he was discharged the following morning at 10:30 a.m. But at midnight that evening, Brian called for an ambulance again, arriving at the hospital for a second time by 12:40 a.m. It's understood shortly after readmission, he was given antibiotics, but at 11:37 a.m, Brian was declared dead.
People that are discharged don't die 24 hours later. I just thought he was going back to hospital and it would be fine.
Have you ever asked the hospital directly, why didn't you give him antibiotics?
Yes, and they said if they gave antibiotics to everybody that came through with the flu, they would have patients everywhere. They also said that sepsis was incredibly rare, 1 in 10,000, I believe she said.
And yet the mother was given somewhat contradictory advice for herself and their sons.
I took a call at 7 p.m, the night that my husband died, insisting and confirming that we'd indeed had our dose of antibiotics that evening.
What it seems to have happened in this case is that the sepsis protocol wasn't followed, and that's why we've asked the coroner to hold an inquest to get answers to these questions for the family.
Aside from some transparency from the hospital, Sandra wants permanent change.
Decision making within hospitals, but also I think the urgency of which patients seem to be discharged needs to be revisited.
So if there is an inquest, what questions would you like answered?
How and why, and how can we improve? How can we stop this from happening to anyone else?
And Sandra is launching legal action over what happened to her husband. Meantime, the coroner will not be holding an inquest, though the investigation is ongoing.